All right, now in this segment, we're going to mess around with walls some more to get a little more control over the size and dimension. Remember, I said you can sketch them without caring too much about the dimensions, but eventually the dimensions are going to matter. So you see, I can simply drag the wall, click on the wall, select it, drag it around, and change its size. So, um, now if I want to be more precise, I can click on the wall and the temporary dimension appears, and I just put in a new temporary dimension and that wall moves. Notice it's the one that I selected that moves. So pick the one you select, put in a new dimension for it, and it moves around. Now, you'll notice these dimension lines here. So I made them permanent so that I could edit them. And I could also change the way these dimension lines work. I could add a witness line, so it's a string of dimensions here. And I could get rid of a dimension by clicking on that little dot and right-clicking and picking delete witness line. So now it's I've got the dimension line to the walls here. Now let's see. Our next step is to add some more dimension lines around here. So I'll pick here and across from that and get a long dimension here. I could pick dimensions on the left side of the building or those walls and pull it across and get those dimensions. Um, and uh, Play around with those, modify them. Get rid of that extra witness line there, so we've got just the walls dimensioned. And I'll put one more dimension along the bottom here. Um, so one continuous string of dimensions. Now let's see, our next step, we could play around with the size of the building and shape of the building by uh, getting those temporary dimensions and editing them, and the wall simply moves around. That's pretty good. Um, and I want my building to be basically a 30-foot square with these sort of notches taken out to make the T shape. So I can get that. I'll just move that dimension around a little bit so I can see it better. Um, and I'm going to put in some overall dimensions here. So so I can keep track of how wide the building is and whether that's whether it's 30 feet square. So I've got those dimensions to tell me what the overall dimensions are. But if I measure those outer walls, or if I move those outer walls, I can get it to be exactly 30 feet. So I'll pick one of those and I will change the temporary dimension that appears, and now I've got a 30-foot dimension between those two outer walls. The other two outer walls, I can change them and get them to be 30 feet. And I'm also going to tab select all the walls and change the constraint height to eve, because I want the wall to go up continuously past the second floor to